This is Kirk from Crestwood, Kentucky. The perfect time for me to listen to Scandal Water Podcast is when I'm out for a run. Being entertained while I'm running helps the miles fly by.
Welcome to Scandal Water,
where we cover the stories that have captivated the entertainment world.
I'm Candy, a longtime educator and community theater actress.
And I'm Ashley, a writer and co-founder of a local theater group.
We're two friends who share a love of entertainment.
From true crime docuseries to blockbuster movies to classic TV to Broadway shows and everything in between.
Each week, I share a compelling story related to pop culture.
And I chime in using my trivia junkie brain.
We stick to the facts until it's time to settle into our armchairs at the end.
Then we're simply two women with a strong cup of tea and even stronger opinions.
We're Scandal Water.
And if this sounds like your cup of tea,
follow the show on your favorite podcast app or the Scandal Water Podcast YouTube channel.
Oh, it's that time of day. Tune in and hear what the ladies say. It's time to bend your ear when the silver screen appears. Stories about the stage and screen and everything in between. So come on and join the fun. The curtain opens in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Ashley.
good morning.
Happy June and happy upcoming Father's
Yes.
Day. We're back to honor them some more. This week, we're going to be focusing on 3 amazing TV dads.
Yeah.
You know, with that in mind, I found this really interesting article. It was from 2023. It was a Saturday Evening Post article entitled TV's Greatest, Best and Worst Dads. And they listed...
Best and worst?
Yeah, they went both
Nice.
ways. Yeah. We're only going to focus on the best.
good guys.
Yes. But they listed their picks for the top 10 TV dads. I'm going to tell you the 3 that we've already chosen because we talked in advance. We decided the 3 we wanted to highlight. They all 3 made it.
Good for them.
So we're not going to reveal them. We're gonna let them unfold as
Okay.
we go through our episode. But would you like to take a guess at some of those other 7?
Sure. So best dads. I'm going to guess that Bob Saget's Danny... What is his last name on that show? Full House. The Full House dad.
I can't think of his last name.
Tanner?
Either. Tanner. That makes sense. Yes. He did not make it though.
He didn't.
He did not.
Interesting. I'm stymied. Who in the world would they have said?
A lot of these do go back
Way
many
back?
years.
Oh, like leave it to...
Not
leave
that
it to,
far back.
Okay.
But think about, here's a story.
Oh, Mr. Brady.
Yep, Mike Brady made it from the Brady Bunch. The actor's name was Robert Reed. We did an episode honoring the anniversary of this particular show.
Little House on the Prairie.
Absolutely. Charles
Yeah.
Ingalls, played by Michael Landon, made number 4.
Okay, is number 1 one of our picks?
Number 1 is one of our picks.
Okay, we won't
We're
say
not
what it
gonna
is
name
then.
it yet.
Okay, good for him. So who's number 2?
Number 2 is Howard Cunningham, played by Tom Bosley from Happy Days.
Oh, he was a pretty nice little dad.
Number 3 is another one of our picks,
Okay.
so I'm going to skip it. Number 4, we've already said, Charles Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie. I bet you watched this one too. This particular show featured Steve Urkel.
Oh, Family Matters.
Family Matters.
I did watch that
Carl
show.
Winslow, played
Yes.
by Reginald Vell Johnson.
Who was also in Die Hard.
Yeah, absolutely. We've already said number 6. That was Mike Brady. Number 7 is from a show that ran from 2009 to 2020. It was very funny. Let me see. How would I describe this? Different levels in the family.
Modern Family?
Yeah, what? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Phil Dunphy, played by Ty Burrell. Number 8 is our 3rd choice. So number 9, I did not really watch this show, but I'll just tell you.
No, wait. See if I can guess it, because we'd be really good at that show, Pyramid. Do you remember the $20,000 Pyramid where they sat at the end and the celebrity gave clues? I'm feeling that right now.
Okay, all right.
I'm feeling it.
Here we go. So it's a nostalgic show set in the past.
A nostalgic show set in the past. What? Okay, give me another clue.
A lot of times
Wait, that 70s show?
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Red Foreman, played by Kurt
They said he was
Smith.
a
That's
good
what I was
dad.
thinking. How
Maybe
did he
he's-
make that?
Maybe he's one of the bad dads. I
And
don't know.
you're not going to know this last one, or at least I didn't.
Okay, try me.
This is part of a franchise that goes back to the 70s that is incredibly popular. Sci-fi.
Doctor Who?
No.
Okay.
Even more prominent than that. We've done episodes on it. Has some of our favorite actors. The 1970s. Groundbreaking. George Lucas.
Star Wars.
This is from The Mandalorian.
What?
That's associated with Star
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah, yeah. The Mandalorian, they have him as a dad?
Din Djarin, played by Pedro Pascal, with stunt doubles Lateef Crowder and Brendan Wayne.
You know who Brendan Wayne is?
No.
John Wayne's grandson. I remember when we watched The Mandalorian, there were certain times I was like, Brian, that guy walks just like John Wayne. Why is the Mandalorian walking like John Wayne? And then we looked it up later, and sometimes John Wayne's grandson was a stand-in. I was like,
role.
son of a gun.
Isn't that cool?
Yes. But I said, he's walking like John Wayne today.
Yeah, well, this one, I had no clue. So I'm just reading straight
All right.
from what the source said. But they had listed that this character was associated with The Mandalorian, 2019 to present, and the Book of Boba Fett, 2021 to present. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, those are their
I guess because he's the
picks.
father figure to Grogu. Is that what they're saying?
I guess.
Okay.
You are talking Greek to me.
Okay, well, we watched the first, I think we watched the first 2 seasons, and we watched Boba Fett. So, yeah, he takes care of the foundling.
Got it. Okay. Well, so we listed the other 7. The 3 that we've neglected to mention are going to appear now. I'm going to discuss them in the order they appear in the rankings, starting backwards. Exactly.
All right.
We're going to build up to the number 1. Does that make sense?
Number 1, yes.
Okay, so the first TV dad that we're going to discuss actually came in at number 8 on this Saturday evening poll, and he is Dan Connor from the TV series Roseanne that ran from 1988 to 1997. Now, did you watch that?
I did.
The whole thing from beginning to end, or was it one of those where you watched for like several years and then kind of...
I don't remember. I know I
fall
saw a lot of the episodes.
I watched it in the beginning. I did fall off. For several years I remember watching, and then at some point I didn't. Did you watch the reboot or when they...
No. See, I watched so much more TV when I was younger than I do now.
Right. I think everybody did.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's give a little review, if in case it's been a while for you guys as well. In the original series, Dan and Roseanne Connor were working class parents raising 3 children, Becky, Darlene, and DJ, although another child named Jerry Garcia Connor was born in later seasons.
Oh, I don't remember him. So maybe I didn't see
right.
it all.
I don't remember that at all. Again, I did not know about the baby, and there was also some other background information that I did not know. Here are some of those items. I found this in a Hollywood Reporter article. They said, quote, in the 1995 to 96 season, Dan suffered a heart attack, but it was revealed in the series finale that Dan had actually died, and the entire final season had all been a work of fiction invented by aspiring writer Roseanne. The shocking twist angered many fans at the time.
I do remember that.
You do? Okay.
I do.
I don't. Roseanne was revived on ABC in 2018, but canceled amid Barr being fired after making a controversial racist tweet.
Yep.
ABC later launched a Roseanne spin-off titled The Connors, starring Goodman in 2018. I looked it up. That series ended in spring of last year after 7 seasons.
Yeah, it was a long time. He remarried Katie Seagal, I think.
He did. I saw that she came in as the new wife. Yes. We've just established we both saw some early seasons of the original series, but we are not as familiar with the newer one. So why has Dan Connor been praised as such a great TV dad? Well, that Saturday Evening Post article offered this blurb speaking to that point. The avatar of blue-collar fathers everywhere, Dan Connor has represented the hard-working, fun dad for more than 30 years. As the easygoing foil to the abrasive Roseanne, played by Roseanne Barr, Dan frequently has the softer touch with the kids, particularly Darlene, whom he never discouraged from being a tomboy early on. However, that good nature doesn't stop him from laying a beat down on the abusive boyfriend of his sister-in-law, Jackie.
Yes.
As the character of Roseanne gets more over the top over time, Dan provides the grounding for the series. After ABC fired Barr following offensive tweets, the revived Roseanne was renamed The Connors and centers itself more squarely on Dan. So, several of the sources that I saw would note that Dan wasn't the perfect dad.
Yeah.
But what made him still a wonderful father was how dearly he loved his kids and how he seemed to love and accept them for who they were. And also, as we heard in that little blurb, he was able to balance his wife's parenting style with his humor and playfulness, even though he could get serious when he needed to. And it was interesting to me, again, not having seen The Connors, it's clear that his character became much more central to the stories, the storyline in that series after the fictional wife passed away. And in fact, a Screen Rant article said that change actually made Dan Connor a better parent while also allowing actor John Goodman to shine a lot brighter in the role of Dan. So here's an excerpt from that 2022 opinion piece by Cathal Gunning for Screen Rant. Quote, as a result of Roseanne's absence, Dan has been both a better father and a funnier character. With the Connors no longer focused on its former star, the sitcom has been able to flesh out both the dramatic and comedic aspects of her underutilized screen husband, resulting in more depth for the character and more laughs from Goodman's performances. While the sudden nature of Roseanne's death is still jarring, it has not stopped Dan's character growth from feeling real and believable. It took a few seasons for Dan to move past Roseanne on the Connors, believably slow progress that made up for how abrupt the character's death was. So I think part of why people appreciate Dan is that they got to see him as the parent, the playful, fun, humorous dad when the kids were young.
Yeah.
And then they get to see him now as this
Grandfather figure, probably?
grandfather, but also still father figure,
Yeah.
because apparently in some of the newer storylines, I think Becky deals with alcoholism. I believe that his wife, the fictional character Roseanne, died from an opioid overdose. And so they've given him some serious issues to deal with in the context of that show. And they said that he did a really great job, and he showed what it's
He's
like,
a good actor.
what it's like to parent an adult child who's dealing with serious adult things, not just a parent to kids.
Right.
You know?
One of the things I liked about him when I was younger, so I can only speak to when I was younger, sometimes sitcoms fall into the heavy, husky dad, skinny, beautiful mom, and the dad's kind of stupid, and she's the one that runs everything, and he's
Stereotypes.
very stereotypical. And I liked that they both were a little husky. They both seemed to be equals. If she was abrasive, he was more grounded. But if he was fun-loving, that episode where he lays the smackdown on Jackie's abusive boyfriend, he is all about supporting and loving, but when business needs to be taken care of, he just does it. There's not a question about it. You see where his priorities are, and he loves his sister-in-law, and he's going to go take care of business, and he does.
So family is family, not
Family
just
is
your
family.
little nuclear
Yes.
family. If he loves you and you're part of his family,
Yes.
he's going to protect you.
He's going to protect you. He's not going to let anything happen to you. So I would feel like very safe being his child. Like he could be someone that he would take care of you, encourage you, be that fun loving dad. But then when business needed to be taken care of, he would take care of you and protect you.
Yeah. Well, that was Dan Connor. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about our other two top TV dads.
All right. We love including listener voices in our episodes, and we're always looking for more. So tell us, where do you sip your scandal water? Do you catch up on the tea while folding your laundry, sitting at your work desk, working out at the gym? Let us know by sending in your shout out, telling us your first name, your hometown, and where you are or what you're doing when you're listening to Scandal Water. And you just might hear a voice you recognize starting one of our upcoming episodes. Email your audio clip to scandalwaterpodcast@gmail.com. The voice memo app on your phone will work just fine. Cheers!
And we are back. All right, let's move to our next dad, who came in number 3 on this poll.
That's
way
strong.
up there. Yeah. This particular father figure is Philip Banks, better known as Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which ran from 1990 to 1996.
I probably saw absolutely
Did you really?
every
Did
one
you
of those.
love this
I
show?
loved this show. I loved it. And it's interesting to me that a father figure made it to number 3 because he is not the Fresh Prince's.
Biologically,
Nope.
the
main character. Of course, he is the biological father to the
of
other.
several other children, absolutely, which we'll talk about here. So why did you love this so much?
Oh gosh, we'd have to go back and talk to teenage me, but I just liked that he was there for Will. His name was Will in the show, correct?
Yes.
I liked that he took him in. I remember the episode where he broke down and he was like, why doesn't my dad want me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was so powerful.
That. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Okay.
No, that was unbelievably good. Yeah. I watched it it was the same thing. I watched it for a while and thought it was really fun. For whatever reason, I guess life got busy and I didn't finish that one.
I think
either.
any child my age, we're adults now, if you started that theme song, we could sing the entire theme song.
Yeah.
The entire one.
I could probably do that. All right. So just as a reminder, the show was PG rated, and this is the summary I found on IMDb. After getting into a fight, a streetwise teenager from a poor neighborhood in West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is sent by his mother to live with his wealthy aunt, uncle, and cousins at their mansion in Bel Air, Los Angeles, in California.
Talk about a culture shock.
Right? Yeah. So the character we're discussing, Philip Banks, was played by James Avery. And again, this character, Philip Banks, along with his wife Vivian, was raising 3 biological children, Hillary, Carlton, and Ashley, when they took in their nephew, Will. And then later in the series, did have another baby as well.
I don't
Nikki.
remember
See?
that person. What
Right?
happened? I thought I saw
It
every
was
single...
right towards the very end. You just don't remember because it wasn't a huge
Dang,
piece of it,
okay,
I guess.
okay.
I don't know. I mean, but you're talking to the person who didn't watch that. So
Okay.
maybe I'm wrong. But Uncle Phil was a wealthy, powerful lawyer who was portrayed as being a strict but also loving and supportive family man. Sadly, James Avery, the actor, passed away in 2013, but I saw a 2020 reunion special that came out on HBO Max where several cast members shared special memories they had of James, and this was so moving. I wanted to play some brief excerpts from different comments made by Will Smith, who played the nephew, Karen Parsons, who played his daughter Hillary, and Alfonso Ribeira, who played his son Carlton.
It's also a theme song that pretty much tells you the whole, like, here's what the show's going to be about. You know?
Absolutely. Well, go ahead and give us the beginning. People will love that.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised, on a playground is where I spent most of my days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and all shooting some b-ball outside of the school when a couple of guys, they were up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight. My mom got scared. She said, "You moving with your auntie and uncle to Bel Air."
Nice.
And I could still,
love
I could
it.
keep going.
I'm
but
sure
I
you
won't.
could. No, that was wonderful. All right, here we go.
James Avery was my sounding board for all of my career decisions. He was Uncle Phil, father, protector, teacher, defender, preacher to everybody. Everybody on the set was his kids. He held that position proudly.
James Avery took being my father very seriously. He called me daughter. You know, he always, way after the show, he didn't call me Karen, he called me daughter.
That character was a father to America. If you had to look through all of television and the history of television, probably, in my opinion, the #1 dad in all of television history.
I loved
Boy, they loved Uncle Phil.
I know. And so the two things that hit me when Alfonso said, "This is basically America's dad."
Yeah.
He called him the ¡1 TV dad. I'm
I
like,
mean,
what a
that's-
tribute.
That could be possible because back when this came out, we didn't have that many. We still didn't have that many choices. I mean, there was more choices, but it wasn't like it is today, where there's a billion shows you can choose from.
Right,
So there
right.
was, you know, a lot of people were watching this.
Absolutely. And the second thing that really hit me was how all 3 of those actors basically said he was such a great TV father,
But also
part
a
of that is
real
because
father.
he was really an amazing father, period. Like he was our father figure. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. In fact, to follow that rabbit trail for just a second, I found an article, it was a 2025 Yahoo article entitled "Alfonso Ribeiro is following the Uncle Phil parenting playbook." It was all about how Uncle Phil has influenced him in real life as a father. And here's a quote that he made about his TV dad, Philip Banks. "He was the archetype of law and order and discipline. You knew what Uncle Phil would think before Uncle Phil came on camera. And that's what you should have in your family. Your kids need to know what dad will think, regardless of whether he's there to see it. If they know what you will think, they're going to stop every once in a while before they do a real dumb thing." Yeah, he said a lot more than that. One thing, a point he made was that predictability is important, but that none of this works without trust. So there was quite a bit there, but I thought, what a nice tribute.
It is.
Yeah. Before we wrap this part, though, I thought we would briefly mention 2 memorable Uncle Phil moments. You've already alluded to one of those. That famous scene actually came in season 4, episode 24, when Will's biological dad deserts him again.
Yeah.
And in that final emotional scene between Will and Uncle Phil, Will tries to pretend he doesn't care before finally breaking down, sobbing, asking, "Why doesn't he want me?" At which point Uncle Phil pulls him into a long, hard hug. And that's kind of how the episode ends. And it was heartbreaking. I watched it again, but I did not know that Will Smith later revealed that James Avery whispered in his ear during that hug. Now that's acting. So the other scene that I'm going to mention was from the series finale. Also looked this up and watched it as well. Season 6, episode 24. The scenario, the situation was that the character Will was going to stay behind to finish his college studies while the rest of the family was moving away. And in the scene, Will tells Uncle Phil that after all those years of being treated like one of his kids, he hopes that he's not going to just become a relative again.
Oh.
He said he tells Uncle Phil, like, when you're calling the other kids on Sunday night, I hope I'm going to get a call too. And we have this amazingly moving moment where Uncle Phil says, you're not going to lose us. You are my son, Will. End of story. And it is just so powerful. So that brings us to the end of talking about Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil makes me cry.
I did not anticipate getting caught up in that as much as I did, but it was really beautiful. The things that they said about the actor as well as the character, I found it
and
really
the found
touching.
Family. Yes, he is his nephew, it's an uncle, but the importance of sometimes you're a father to or a parent to someone who isn't your child, and it's just as important.
And in today's world, that's happening a lot. You know, there are so many families where kids are not being raised by their biological parents, but the people who take them in, they're their loving parents as much as if it were through blood. And I love that we had a chance to talk about Uncle Phil as part of this. But the last TV dad that we're going to discuss today came in the top spot. He was number 1, according to this particular poll. And that fella is Sheriff Andy Taylor, played by Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
All right, tell me about your background with this one.
I didn't watch Andy Griffith as much as I watched the other stuff, but I went through a period of time, I think in my 20s, where I watched reruns of it, and it was one of those things where I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, and I really enjoyed the homespun goodness of Andy Taylor, and I can see why people feel the ideal town is Mayberry and why they call it Mayberry. If a town is trying to be like, oh, this is somewhere you want to live, everybody knows everybody, it's Mayberry. It just was very sweet, but not saccharine, if that makes sense. It wasn't overly sweet, it was real, and Andy was a good dad. Yeah. To little Opie.
This was a show that I did not watch, like to sit down and actually watch episodes, but I would sometimes catch episodes, especially Papa Joe, my mom's husband, would sometimes watch it, and I would walk in and catch part of an episode, sit down and watch it, and it was always sweet. It was always engaging. But let's talk about why this fella came in at number 1, why Sheriff Andy Taylor rated as our very best TV dad. Some context. The show we're talking about, of course, is the Andy Griffith Show. It ran from 1960 to 1968. As you've already said, it was set in the fictional town of Mayberry, and it did center around Sheriff Andy Taylor, who kept law and order in this town with the help of his deputy, Barney Fife, played by Don Knotts. But in his personal life, Andy was also a single dad raising son Opie, played by Ron Howard, after losing his wife. So here's the blurb that explains why the Saturday Evening Post chose him as their winner. Sheriff Andy Taylor is the kind of dad everybody wants. He's kind, thoughtful, good-humored, helpful, and willing to dispense advice. More than anything, he's tolerant of the faults in others, as evinced by his friendship with Barney and his willingness to let Otis keep a courthouse key so that he can lock himself up when he gets drunk. Taylor also has the distinction of being a rare single dad on 1960s television.
That's true.
Yeah, and as such, sets a template that many others can emulate, even if they never quite equal it. During the spin-off series, Mayberry RFD, Andy marries his longtime love, Helen, and they have a son named Andy Jr. Curiously, Andy Jr. is neither seen nor mentioned in Return to Mayberry, presumably having moved into, you guessed it, the Chuck Cunningham home for disappeared sitcom kids. Nevertheless, it's easy to see that Andy Taylor is TV's greatest dad.
Interesting.
All right. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, he also seemed to, from what I remember, be sort of a forebearer of gentle parenting, where he would always talk to Opie about what the issue was. He wouldn't get a switch after him, although he may have. I don't know.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. In fact, that was a point that, I think you nailed it for sure. But just to kind of bring this home, I looked at so many different different polls and rankings, and Andy Taylor appeared time and time again. This was not the only particular survey that listed him as the top dad. In fact, according to a MeTV article, here's an example of how other people recognize him. They said Andy Griffith was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by George W. Bush in 2005 for his portrayal of the Sheriff of Mayberry.
Wow.
And as you've already alluded, there's lots of reasons why people think that Andy Taylor was such a great father. You've already said they will point to his gentleness, his compassion, his patience towards his son, his good humor, and especially how he takes the time to try to help his son learn right and wrong rather than simply telling him what he should do. I Googled best Andy Taylor dad moments. Here are just 3 examples that popped up. There was an episode, Mr. McBeevy, where they wrote, perhaps the most iconic parenting moment, Andy struggles with whether to believe Opie's story about a man who walks in the trees. When he sees Opie's sincerity, he chooses to trust him, affirming that believing in his son is more important than logic. Is that one you saw?
I feel like that sounds familiar, but I don't. Did he get proven correct that there was?
Yeah, there was some kind of an explanation at the end. Yeah, and so Opie was telling the truth. It was just a slant on it.
Okay.
Another episode that they mention is Opie's charity, in which Andy tries to teach Opie about charity, but realizes he has been harsh in his judgment. He learns that Opie's perspective on charity was different than his own, and they both learn a lesson in compassion. And then they mention Opie the Birdman.
I was gonna say, is it the bird one?
Do you know this one?
It's where doesn't he accidentally kill a bird, or maybe he hunts a bird or something like that?
He kills a mother bird with a slingshot.
Yeah.
And so Andy makes him take care of the hatchlings instead of just punishing him. And they point out this teaches him responsibility and empathy and appreciation of life. But here is something that I found so interesting. Ron Howard gave an interview with Bilge Ebiri that was published in Vulture not even a year ago, August of 2025. And in that interview, he spoke about an important event that he thinks helped shape the father-son relationship between Andy Taylor and Opie. So here's the question that was posed to Ron Howard. I was intrigued to learn that when the Andy Griffith Show first started, it was your dad's idea to change the relationship between Opie and Andy into what it turned out to be. Ron Howard responded, Dad never said anything about that to me. Many years later, when we were doing a Return to Mayberry TV movie or reunion special or something, Andy told me that my dad had come to him very early on in the show and said, you're writing Opie the way most sitcom kids are written. They're wiseacres and smarter than the dad. And he said, Ronnie can do that, but what if Opie actually respected his dad? And then Ron continued, now, I don't know if Dad was just worried about me getting into bad habits, or I think he was, in his own very simple way, actually teaching me actors' studio stuff. It was the simplest version of method acting, finding the truth in moments. I think maybe he felt like there was a lot of artifice in these punchline-driven deliveries that would be required. So basically, what they go on to talk about is this suggestion
changed it
into what it turned out to be, instead of just going for those laughs
like
of the
Dennis
smart
the Menace kind of kid.
Exactly, the smart aleck kid that's kind of making these little punchlines all the time.
I like that so much better.
Absolutely. So it was cool because the interviewer and Ron Howard actually kind of marvel for a moment together about, like, it's this simple little suggestion, this innocent little comment from Ron's actual own father that was so significant in creating this legacy for Andy Griffith of being this amazing father. The interviewer, Bill Jabiri, straight up noted in the interview that Andy Griffith became a surrogate father to so many people because of his father role in the Andy Griffith Show. And he said that wouldn't have happened.
No,
if
it
they
wouldn't
had
have
followed their original plan.
If you had the little wiseacre kid, he couldn't have been the kind of dad that he became to a kid that actually respected him. They couldn't have had that kind of relationship because he'd always be having to discipline him or, just manage him or handle him. And this way they could be father-son.
The things that we named that we liked about it,
Yeah.
the heart of it wouldn't have been there. Like
Yeah.
the teaching and the empathy.
The gentleness.
Yes. It would have just been kind of superficial and a little more slapsticky, I think.
Armchair Psychologist.
Well, I think that brings us to the armchair, Ashley. Before I throw a question at you, any last comments about any of our three dads that we've
I don't think
talked
so.
about?
I think I said pretty well in each section what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Good deal. Well, what I wanted to ask, and this isn't anything different, but you and I, when we were heading into this episode, we bounced around several other options. We had some honorable mentions. So I'm going to mention a few of those that we just kind of threw around and see if you would like to talk about any of these others. Okay. We did mention, although I don't believe you watched this show, This Is Us, Jack Pearson.
Yes, we did mention him. I have not seen that show. I did not feel like crying. So I would like to see the show eventually, but I was not in the right headspace to.
I watched the first few seasons.
Yeah, I remember you
and
talking.
he was a great dad.
I saw the first episode where the triplets were born.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay, not ready for this. But he was a really great dad.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have already talked about this father in a different episode, but Charles Ingalls appeared on so many surveys. So any last thoughts about him?
I think another thing that I liked about Charles is I put him in the same category as Andy Griffith, where he seemed, from my memory, to be more of a gentle parent, talking to the kids rather than really
patient,
spanking or disciplining them. And the kids seem to really respect their father. So I think that's one of the reasons we didn't re-choose him. It's like we've already talked about him, and he and Andy kind of match in the types of fathers that they were.
Right. And then this particular dad almost made our list. We really debated on this one. So what are your thoughts about Gomez Addams?
Oh, Gomez. Yeah, I was thinking Bob Saget. I like Gomez as a dad. I think he's quirky and he's weird. Well, he's ooky and he's gooky, whatever that thing is. But he loves his wife. There's no doubt.
Definitely.
Yeah. Besides the whole like slapstick of how much he loves her, they're just macabre, and he loves her. He's a good dad. He encourages his kids to be individuals, even though it's super weird and the stuff that they get into is not great. But I think I like him as a dad. I like the weirdness of him as a dad.
Yeah, I don't put him up there with the fellas we've been talking about.
No.
But he certainly was a
eccentric.
a fun, eccentric. Yes. Loving dad.
Very loving.
For
very
sure.
supportive.
For sure.
Whatever they want to do. A little too much.
Whatever
a
they
little
want to
too encouraging.
He was not overprotective.
No.
He did not have that problem.
He needed to rein in the gentle parenting. I think he needed to do a little bit of discipline.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end. So who are we going to cheers, Ashley?
Well, we cheers the dads. I think we just keep cheersing the dads because this is the episode that comes out right before Father's Day, I do believe. Is that right?
Yes.
I think so. I think this Tuesday will be before the Sunday of Father's Day.
All right. So happy Father's Day to all our dads out there who are listening. A big cheers to you.
Absolutely. Cheers.
If you love what we do, please rate and review our show or become a supporter through Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. Whether a single gift or recurring monthly donation, your support is what allows us to keep the tea brewing.
Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or the Scandal Water Podcast YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Show notes are available at our website, scandalwaterpodcast.com, where you can also access the merch store and more.
This episode was executive produced by Candy Thomas, that's me, and Ashley Raymer Brown.
That's me.
It was researched and written by Candy Thomas and edited by Ashley Raymer Brown.
A special thank you to Josh Martin, who wrote, composed, and performed the Scandal Water theme and other music, Matt C. Adams, who created the artwork, and Joshua Reith, who designed our website and provides ongoing technical support.
As a reminder, this podcast is purely for entertainment purposes. The thoughts and opinions of the host during each episode of Scandal Water are their own and do not reflect the opinions of any future guests, advertisers, or clearly professional psychologists. Thanks for listening.